They start flailing all over the place, making these beastly sounds.
Wow.
This is happening, right in front of us. I I'd like to think so what about the other people that are like giving their life to Jesus and this manifestation is not happening inside of them? I feel like if I put myself in their shoes, I'd be like, what am I signing up for?
They're still waiting in line while watching, and
They're like, on second thought,
I think I gotta go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they start flailing, making these screeches, squeals.
Wait, can I ask a question? Did you have much time seeing their demeanor before you started praying over
No.
them? Like there was
Mm-mm.
nothing that you're like, wow, that person seems like they have a heaviness over that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those of us on the prayer team, we would just kind of be like standing around the chairs. And so during the 2 messages that were given, like you would be looking at people praying, Lord, like show me like who is it that you want me to
Right.
speak to? For sure.
Yeah.
But me specifically, no, I didn't have anything on my radar about
Yeah.
this woman.
Uh-huh.
I will say when this group, I think I kept saying it was the first group, but I actually think this was the second group. There was a heaviness. Like I really did feel like a presence alongside of like the Holy Spirit being there. When something dark was around, like you could feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever like walk past somebody, on the street and you just feel their energy?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is. Like
even
you
like
just
a
feel a heaviness.
demonic movie. It's like
Yes,
you just feel
exactly.
that.
Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jody, someone who that is her gift is delivering manifestations. One of the girls that was flailing, grabs Jody by the neck. Yeah. This is happening right in front of me, dude. Grabs Jody by the neck really, really hard. Throws a chair at Jody. It hits her in the neck. So we're all like laying hands on this woman.
Okay.
Beautiful young woman. But
Wow.
Jody's just like, guys, I can't talk.
Her hand's still on her neck.
No, takes off the neck and she's just like, and we're like all trying to hold her because we're
Okay.
trying to protect her head, her body.
Right. Because it's not her.
No, it is not her. It is
Yes.
something living inside of her.
Right.
Not something, but a demon living inside of her. Or
Right.
many different spirits living inside of her.
Uh-huh.
And so Jody's like, I need you guys like to lay your hand, like keep praying over here. Like we need to get oil. Like
Wow.
she cannot talk. And then this woman, she at some point she's sitting on this plastic chair, falls down onto the ground. Her entire body lifts off of the ground except for her heels. Her heels are planted on the ground and her entire body levitates off of the ground.
What?
And she's making, it doesn't even sound like human, like the sounds that she's making. Yeah.
Oh my word.
So this is a spirit or spirits that live inside of a very Ugandan woman, right?
Yeah.
The demon then grabs her own neck
Okay.
that it was inside of, and starts mimicking Jody. And it was just like, and like you could clearly understand it. It didn't sound Ugandan. Like she's like, "Oh, does your throat hurt?"
No
Like
kidding.
making a joke, like
with an English accent.
yeah,
American accent.
yeah, like you could understand it. It wasn't Ugandan. Yes.
Holy
And the woman
cow.
herself like spoke broken
English.
Yeah. There were so many events that happened with this specific deliverance, but she threw a chair at Jody. The chair hit Jody's neck. Did I already say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did. And poor Jody, like for the next day or two, like her throat was hurting.
Wool.
And there was like red like around her neck from where she like grabbed her. So anyway.
And Jody's the one that has experience.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very many times. She shared a story a couple years ago in Uganda where literally she walked by somebody and somebody's entire body was picked up and slammed down, and he had to be go to the hospital right away. There's blood everywhere. Like, yeah. Anyway, back to my experience in Uganda. Um,
Wow.
so an hour later, that same woman is on her hands and knees worshiping the Lord, and
Whoa.
just a completely different person. The presence around her feels different. Her pupils look different. She looks different because, like,
Did her eyes look dark?
yeah, like her pupils look like she had done Molly for days, like
Whoa.
insane. But afterwards, they're much brighter. And something else that I learned is like people who have had these spirits living inside of them, and when you're trying to deliver a spirit from them, is ask them like how they're doing afterwards, because how they feel is a really good determination for us. Like, okay, should we continue praying and
Right.
whatnot? And she said that she felt so much lighter, and um, there's just so much witchcraft
Uh-huh.
in Uganda or in Africa. People are just so desperate for any help.
Uh-huh.
Some people like swallow gems thinking that it's gonna bring like good luck or health.
Like looking for something bigger than them, and
Exactly.
whatever is the most accessible, I'm sure, is what they're diving into.
Right. Yeah.
Or generationally, my
I was
grandma's a
just gonna
witch
say that.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of them, like maybe they themselves haven't like dealt with witchcraft, but generations ago that has been in their family, and
Mhm.
it's a curse that they haven't broken, or they
Right.
haven't brought to the Lord for it
Right.
to be broken, or maybe they're unaware
Or
and
their
it's not
grandma
even on them. Like,
committed, yeah, their lineage
mhm.
to these demonic entities
Yeah.
and practices,
Mhm.
and they don't even know what was spoken over their lineage,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This stuff is so real, and I feel like I just wanna interject here real quick because I'm thinking of, um, the people listening and, like, even our audience, and there's some people listening who are Christians, have this intimate relationship with the Lord, but there's also a handful of people who listen who don't know, have never heard people talk like this, and I just wanna say, like, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm so proud of you. I'm blown away right now, and you've just said one little story of a tangible experience that you had with the Holy Spirit, but, like, my dad always says, like, "What if we really believed this stuff? Like, what if?"
Yeah.
And, like, going to Uganda, it's like this stuff is so tangible there because people are yearning for something.
Yeah.
They're yearning for that. And
Right.
here, I think we get so comfortable. We don't
Mhm.
need to need God. A lot of
That's
people
so
don't
right.
think they need to need
Yeah.
God. And so you don't see things show up in the same way on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
And you think these movies make it
Mhm.
up. This stuff is so real.
Yeah. And we have so many things here too, like, that are distracting us too.
Yeah.
I mean, money for sure, like, plays a really big role in this, but in Uganda and Africa, like, all they have is their family,
Hmm.
really. And what else are they gonna do? They don't have phones, they don't have cars and fancy nice things. The bar is set to, if we get food and water on the table, that is such a good day,
Yeah.
right? When our bar, it's, of course it's different. We're in America, but um our bar is like, it keeps getting higher and higher, and
Right.
strive to do better and make more and have more.
Hmm.
Um and I believe that's too like why they're filled with so much joy, because they
Hmm.
don't have the things.
Yeah.
Um
Sorry to,
no, it's
but
okay.
I feel like that's just important to anyone listening, like, no matter where you are in your walk with the Lord, like, hearing someone's firsthand experience in these things, like, I have not experienced the Lord in this way. It's, it's just really powerful because it makes my faith, it just makes you, even not being there firsthand, like, I'm experiencing the Lord in a way I haven't right now, just
Mhm.
hearing.
Mhm.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and
Say
that's
more.
and that's a clear example of like why um I need to share these stories,
Mhm.
of course, because then you guys get to have a little sliver of an experience that I got to. So I love that I get to share that with you guys.
Mhm.
So anyway, um, not only did I feel like the Lord really took that insecurity from me of like praying out loud, but I every single person that I prayed over minus one person in my time in Katwe was having like a spiritual battle. Like I said, witchcraft was so heavy. A lot of people they would be asking for prayer. They were scared to go to sleep because of the nightmares that they would have.
Wow.
Specifically a lot of snakes. And that's a really, really big indicator for witchcraft.
Mhm.
Um, really dark stuff, you guys. Like I had one woman tell me that she kept dreaming that her oldest child turns into a vampire and eats her baby. And or like she was being buried alive by dead people in her family and just dark, dark things.
Mhm.
This lady who was having dreams of being suffocated by a snake, she, as soon as we started laying hands on her, her entire body was moving like a serpent. And
Wow.
this was on the first day. And so I'm like, okay, setting the tune.
I
And I
know.
think that was like the first person that I individually prayed over to. And I was
Wow.
like, come on, God, come through.
Come on, God.
Yeah. And won't he do it?
Oh my gosh.
Like, you
Cracked
guys,
knuckles.
yeah, serious. I'm pretty sure when she told me her
Her
dream,
neck.
no, I'm dead serious. After she told me her dream, I was like, okay. I like said that
Yes.
out loud.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. We're getting in it. I think there was just a level of surrender that I had that I never had done before that enabled like the Lord to really use me and all fear out the window. I've had a couple people that I've gotten to share these stories with ask me like, were you scared? Like
Mhm.
looking at a demon in the eyes. No fear.
Or seeing someone grab someone else by the throat thinking like, could that happen to me?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
fear.
Mhm.
It's scary like to hear those stories.
Yeah.
No fear was there because you know that you have like this authority inside of you. Jesus is living inside of me. There's nothing that can
Well,
touch me.
literally the fruit of the spirit.
Yeah.
Like,
There's nothing that can penetrate this that
no.
is bigger than this.
No, yeah.
And when you understand that and feel that,
No fear.
you can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when that demon was mimicking Jody, it was almost like comical. Like, this spirit, this
Uh-huh.
demon, the enemy really thinks that he can come up against my God.
It's pathetic.
It is.
Shoo
And
fly.
goodbye. And that's exactly what it was. It was
Wow.
stomping on the enemy. Yeah, she was on her hands and knees praying. This was really cool. One last like manifestation that I encountered was this woman. She was very desperate. She 100% like wanted to be saved and she wanted to be baptized in the Holy Spirit. And again, we were walking around laying our hands on people and I put my hands over her and at at first like so she was just like shaking really really bad, shaking and really bawling her eyes out and it's like not quiet in the room but it's like people are, having an intimate moment with Jesus so they're praying like between them and God. So there's some chatter but and I started praying over her in my prayer language and like Holy Spirit come right now, that type of language. And she started just like yelping like out loud. And I just like continued. I laid my hand on her head and I like demanded whatever was inside of her to come out right now. And she and you could feel it too. At first she was shaking. I just thought, maybe she's just very overwhelmed
Mhm.
by the Holy Spirit right now. I could
Mhm.
understand that. But like I said earlier, like I said, you feel you feel that presence, you feel the heaviness and you feel the darkness, and I
Yeah.
completely felt that, and what I felt even heavier was as soon as it dropped. So she, like,
Wow.
literally fell to her knees, and she was just, declaring, like, "Mercy, mercy, Jesus, Jesus, forgive me," and you could just
Wow.
feel it lift, literally.
That makes me wanna cry because you can, like, feel the rejoice and then you wanna rejoice
Yeah.
with her,
Yeah.
like
And, yeah, I got to then after that happened, she chose to go get prayer, and I got to chat with her a bit more and pray over her kiddos, and yeah, so I'm gonna put a bow on the spiritual stuff. I mean, the entire trip was spiritual, but that side of things.
Wow.
Now I wanna jump into, like, some, healing that happened
Yeah.
right in front of our eyes. Again, I know we serve a very mighty and powerful Lord, but you guys, seeing the stuff right in front of you happen, seeing healing happen right in front of you, it's like, he is so big.
Uh-huh.
He does whatever he wants
Does it make you
when he wants.
almost feel like, oh, you poor little girl, thinking of prayers that you've prayed in years past that you're like, God, will you please come through in this way financially? God, will you please provide? God, will you protect me? And it's like,
Yeah.
won't he?
Y
You're like, you
yeah.
wee little person who has
Yeah.
no faith.
I was just gonna say little faith. It just made me realize, like, how much bigger faith that I gotta be having.
Wow.
Um, so, alright, this experience, it wasn't me specifically with this person, but on my team, and at the end of every day, we got to share what we experienced, and, this was really neat. Ben and Sid, they were praying over this elderly woman who she had been coming to this church. This is still in Katwe, and but she was older and her knees hurt really bad and her vision, she could barely see. She said, "I haven't been able to like read my Bible. I can't walk to the church either. I haven't read my Bible in X amount of years."
Mm.
And so they were praying over her, and by the time that they were done praying, I think they felt led to, like, pray a couple of times, and she could see, like, the chapters in the Bible again, and she
Wow.
said that she hadn't been able to see for, like, a really long time or read for a really long
Yeah.
time. So that was really amazing,
Wow.
and then this is really, really beautiful story. Her name is Shraddha, and shout out to Shraddha. I think she's a year older than me, amazing girl. She's from India. She's a doctor in Wales now, and she just is such a beautiful, soft, sweet, quiet spoken person that I met and that was on the trip with us. And she um had this patient. They came to her saying, again, she's a doctor. They came to her saying, "I'm having, like, all of these problems." They had very like, a ton of different symptoms going on. It wasn't just their stomach, but it was, like, a lot of different things.
Mhm.
And Shraddha knew that we didn't have the medication, like, to give this patient, and so she said, "I don't know what happened, but I experienced, like, this boldness that she doesn't typically have." She said that she looked at this patient and said, "I'm gonna pray for you and you're going to be healed."
Wow.
She's like, "I didn't even know who was talking," and after I said that, I was like, "God, please."
Come through.
Yeah. And
Don't
so
leave me here stranded.
uh-huh. And so she, was praying over this person, and, after she was done praying, she felt the Lord say, "Pray again." And she's like, "Right, I'll pray again." And then she asked, like, the person how they were feeling, and the person, again, Ugandans, they don't really have a ton of expression on their face. And I think it was a gentleman looks at her and said, "Everything is good." Like this.
Never been better.
Yeah, and Shraddha was like, "Are you sure?" Like,
We could go again.
yeah, like, "Are you okay?" And, like, "Everything feels okay?" And he said, "Yeah, everything feels great." Walked away, standing up straight, no limp. Like, yeah, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, man, God is good. He can do anything he wants. He
I
can
mean, the
heal
Bible
anything.
says that you can tell a tree to move from here
Mhm.
to there if you have faith, if you let the
Yeah,
Holy Spirit, like, all you have to have is the faith of a mustard seed.
yeah,
And it's just like, it, it's the truth,
yeah.
you know?
This stuff doesn't just happen back in the olden days,
Right.
back in the Bible times, like, this stuff happens now, and we have to start having bigger faith. We really do.
It's so, I don't know, just infectious to hear. And it's just like, you, yeah, you want to have that kind of kind of faith here, or it's like you talking about that woman's knees hurting. I'm like, why aren't we at Gaga's apartment on our hands and knees praying over her knees? You know?
Exactly. I 100% Bailey. Yeah.
We're a Bible believing Christian family, and why aren't we doing these things?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I will pray for her and I will have a sense, but it's like,
Yes.
why aren't we going to the
Yeah.
Lord in that
And
way?
laying our hands on the people in our lives that are hurting.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so did all of that happen in Katwe?
Everything I just shared, yes, that was Katwe, except for the last story I just told you of the man being healed with Shraddha.
Okay. But
Um,
they were very different. So what
mhm.
about some things that happened at the other place, or what was that place like?
Yes. Yeah. So my role shifted when I was there. I was with the kids majority of the time.
Oh, they're so
I
cute. Your stories, they
know.
look so little.
They are. They are
Like,
because they don't eat.
yeah,
They're tiny. They're
tiny.
skin and bones. The baby babies who are breastfeeding are healthy and fluffy because they're
Uh-huh.
breastfeeding and getting a ton of nutrients. But
Uh-huh.
after that, they do
Do they
not eat much.
do they breastfeed for longer there?
I think so. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's some kids that I'm like,
Uh-huh.
don't know
But I
if we would
mean,
be like that.
if you have a supply and it's free.
It's
Yeah.
serious. Yeah.
Wow.
Um. So yeah, I was with the kiddos. One of the days, I was like, let's do red light, green light. Biggest mistake. It was so frightening having like 150 kids
Oh my god.
like run after you. That was frightening.
And are they more expressive and having fun?
But yeah, they're a lot
Like
more
present?
expressive, but it still takes a bit warming up,
Mhm.
even with the kiddos. This is wild. Um, Even like little boys, they walk like men, and
Mhm.
the little girls walk like grown women, like with this confident shoulders back, like there because a
Mm.
childhood does not exist for kids in Africa.
Oh,
They
yeah.
like so in Karamoja, the second village that we went to, I really connected with this sweet little girl named Munez. And she, if you guys follow me on Instagram, that's the little girl that I posted about. Gosh,
Was she the one chasing after when you were driving away? Is that
no.
someone else?
That I think that was her older sister.
Mhm.
But anyway, this little girl, I don't know, she from the moment we got there, she wanted to be held and she
Mm.
would take naps on I held her literally for like 3 days.
Oh,
I was
her
doing
hand was on your
everything.
hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so her older sister was there, Munez, like she had to have been, I don't know, like 4. It was
Mhm.
really hard to tell because
She's
like she's so small,
tiny.
tiny.
Yeah.
Um and her older sister, she like brought her every single day and I would ask them like, "Where's your parents?" Her older sister was in school. She was probably like 8 or 9
Mhm.
and she
But
was in
they're
school.
traveling to come
Mhm.
to you.
Yeah, walking, no shoes.
Uh-huh.
Um, and her sister was in school, so she had, like, some understanding of English, but even her sister, like, didn't know how old her sister was. Um, but I would ask them, like, "Where are your parents?" And either she wasn't understanding me or she didn't know
Uh-huh.
because but I would like to think that it was just her not understanding me because she was in school,
Uh-huh.
and so that gives me a little bit of hope that, maybe her parents are a little bit more established than
Mhm.
majority of people.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, they both had, like, French sounding names, so their parents must have been, like, from French, like, descent, which is
Mhm.
super common in Africa.
Mhm.
Anyway, those 2 girls, so special to me, I think about them often, and they loved on me so much. On a missions trip, as much as, like, you're pouring into these people and helping them, like, I just feel like they poured into me so much.
Mhm.
They were just so soft, and, the way that they looked at you, like, I don't know. I wanted to take her home so
Mhm.
bad.
I know.
I
Wow.
okay, this was probably one of the everybody talks about when they go on their first missions trip, like, they have a moment of doubt of, like, "I can't do this, like, I'm not." equipped. Like, the Lord must have had a mistake. Like, I can't handle this. It's so
Mhm.
heartbreaking. Something I was praying before I left for Uganda was like, Lord, I want my heart to break the way that we break your heart and just really understand like the difference of life that these people live here. And I want to see it for what it is and not have an American view and whatever.
Mhm.
So when we were in Karamoja, the second village, I was in charge of like handing out toothbrushes to the groups coming through clinic. And, so the first and we had to be very, like, selective on, like, the groups and times that we did that because we only had so many. And so the first time, I stuffed a garbage bag full of, like, 100 toothbrushes, and a little kid must have seen me because I came out of, like, that room that I was in to grab them, and, like, 50 kids ran up to me. This was so hard. And they were, like, tugging on me and pulling on me, like, give me one, please, 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 like, I don't have one, please, like, I need one, my little brother and my mom, like, please, give me one." It's a freaking toothbrush, dude, and these kids were acting like it was, like, kids here. Are you kidding? And they're tugging on me, and I didn't know what to do, and they're, like, pulling me, and it's a little scary, and they're
When you
look
know you don't have enough to give everybody.
yeah, but, like, I didn't know what to do, so I, like, gave the first couple a couple, I'm like, "Oh, no," like, more are coming, and then one of the people from the, team, like, came up to me and no, first they were, like, reprimanded by somebody, like, shooing them away from me, and then someone from the team came up to me and was just like, "Sweetie, you cannot do that. Like, that's exactly what happens, and now, like, because you were giving some out, the elders or some people, I guess, are, like, trying to keep the kids in line, saw that they were, like, tugging on you, and they're getting switched because you were handing out
What does that mean?
toothbrushes, like, with a tree branch, like, whipped, like, they were being
Discipline.
disciplined, yeah,
Oh,
and I looked at her, I'm like, "So you're telling me like, I'm the reason why they're getting disciplined right now," like,
they're
she went about this, like, in a loving way, but she
yeah,
wanted me to understand, like, "You can't do that. I know, like, your heart in it, and I know that you're just, like, you're wanting to help all these kids, but, like, can't do that." And
because
so
you're wanting to prevent them from being disciplined for
yeah,
something that's not worthy of discipline.
yeah. And so then
It's so
it
complex.
is.
Yeah.
And so then my heart was breaking because I just desired so badly, like, I wanted to help all of these kids and give them
Yeah.
all toothbrushes. And then I felt like an idiot, like, why would I do that? Like, of course, like, I can't give one to everybody, and then the people in the clinic aren't even gonna get one. And then it was just so heartbreaking. So I had to remove myself from clinic and just, like, step behind the building for, like, 10 minutes and just have a moment. I was, like, hysterically crying. It was hard for me to, like, come back
Mhm.
to, like, reality and, like, I realized, "Okay, I'm here in Uganda to help, and I'm no help if I'm standing behind here." I
Mhm.
think it was totally appropriate for me to go, like, gather myself and just, like, spend some time with the
Right.
Lord, but I feel like in that moment, like, that's the most, like, broken I felt on the trip.
Mhm.
And I think everybody that goes through that on their first missions trip, but yeah, that was a hard moment. I did sneak a toothbrush to Munez, right before we left, and she's so little. I was like, somebody's gonna take it from her. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later, she doesn't have it. And when I left, she was like holding a water bottle, had like a tiny bit of water in it. And I had a full one. So I just like, I took her one and gave her my full one, and then just like gave the other one to some random kid. And when I was leaving, like the bus was pulling away. I was just like staring at her, like, who knows when she's going to get like fresh, clean water again.
Mm.
Bailey, their water is literally brown with bugs in it. And there's been so much improvement, from what I've heard from the people going for so long. There's been so much improvement in the conditions of these people, like their water specifically. I was surprised to see, like, at the, clinic on the second place, Karamoja, there were, like, 2 spigots
Mhm.
and, like, faucets that they could turn on, and then water would come out, very dirty water, but it was water.
Mm.
So that was kinda cool to see, I wasn't expecting to see that, but that didn't used to be there, and they had those
Well,
every so often, miles from each
are
other.
people walking miles getting
Mhm.
large amounts of water
Yeah.
and walking back?
Yes, yeah, and you would
Mhm.
see that. The women there, they are so strong. They're like the laborers
Uh-huh.
compared to here in America, where traditionally that's typically more than the men. So, like, the women are, like, built
Wow.
and, like, muscular and very strong.
Uh-huh.
The elderly women are very strong, and a lot of the men are just very fragile and skinny, which is
What's the
interesting.
male's role traditionally then?
To watch cattle and,
Okay.
yeah, to keep an eye on their things and
Okay, wow. So the
yeah,
women are
going out,
run
carrying the heavy
keeping,
stuff.
um, food, water, things
Yeah.
coming in and out of the
Mhm.
house.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. I get the vibe, like, that's, like, more traditional, so that was more in the rural area, but I get the vibe, like, in Katwe, the first place that we were, that it was, maybe closer to what we're used to, because
Mhm.
you would see, like, a ton of the men, like, out in the streets, like, trying to whatever, sell stuff,
Okay.
and, like, you'd see the babies with the women, so
Okay.
another highlight of mine was I got to do this with Connor, and it was so beautiful seeing him, and what God has called him to do and see him so lit on fire, and it's a light that I've never seen him in.
Mhm.
And it was really, really cool and felt like some not that I'm looking for any more confirmation that, Connor's meant to be in my life, but the Lord spoke similar things to the both of us a couple times,
Mhm.
and that's so cool to come alongside of someone and know that the Lord is doing a work in the both of you, and you both can relate and talk about it, and that was a lot of fun.
Mhm. And so, like, bonding
Yeah.
to experience that stuff together,
Mhm.
I imagine, like, I mean, that's pretty significant, like,
Mhm.
things you're experiencing.
Yeah. It's kinda wild. We talked about it like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna look back one day and, like, say our first trip was to Africa." Are you kidding? It's
I
just
know.
funny.
Not the most traditional first trip
No,
together.
no, he saw me real dirty, let me tell ya.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share just, like, small little details.
Yeah.
Bathrooms
Oh, yeah.
were quite an
Like,
experience.
hole in the ground,
Yeah,
hovering.
yeah.
You've probably
Um,
never pooped faster in your life with the alignment
serious,
how you're
yeah.
supposed to poop. Get that squatty potty, sister.
Yes, yeah. It, was interesting, and, like, in Karamoja, the more rural area, those bathrooms, they were probably the worst, but
Ugh.
I went in there and it's the hole in the ground, and, like, when you squat like that, especially I'm sorry, guys, TMI, but, like, when you're going number 2, like, I would like to, like, have, like, the wall so I don't, like, like
Well, and when that's how they always have gone to the bathroom, like, they probably have such a better, balance.
yeah, they're used to
What
doing
is that?
that.
Center of gravity or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah.
Yes.
So, but
That's
you
hard.
can't grab, like, that wall because literally it's just poop everywhere. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. Yeah, so that sucked. Oh, the first place that we're at, so I said we're at the church. There's this woman just working so hard. She would keep, like, 2 of the 5 stalls, like, locked for, like, us white people, us Mzungus, which are white people. You'd walk past, like, people or kids especially, they'd be like, "Mzungu, Mzungu." Um, anyway, she would keep it locked, and every single time one of us used the bathroom, she would go in there and clean it.
Oh
It was
my
sparkling
gosh.
every single time, and she just,
Was that a hole in the ground too?
yes, but it had, like, tile on the floor
Uh-huh.
and, like, a ring,
Uh-huh.
not a seat, but, like, and it was a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
And then it had, like, a water system in there, not really a flushing, but it was like you would pour water into the hole, and then it would kinda go down, which was
Uh-huh.
interesting. But, like, she would
Wow.
tell us, like, like, she would flush for us,
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
Like, she just was working so hard. And you can imagine how much that just, like, poop was on her and gross things.
Huh.
It was so dirty, Bailey, everywhere. Man. Or,
Wow.
like, at the end of the clinic each day, like, we would help clean up trash, like, downstairs on the ground, and, you know, us Mzungus, us white people would put on the gloves and, like, pick up trash, and there was a day where these kids were just, like, hanging out and playing with me as we're cleaning up, and they were picking up trash, like, just with their bare hands, like,
Mhm.
there was, like, a Mountain Dew that had some left in it, and one of the kids was like, "Look what I found." And he acted like he was gonna drink it, or not acting, he was going to, and I was like, "Uh-uh, don't, yucky,
Mhm.
you don't know whose that
Mhm.
was." And he was like, he wouldn't even think of that. And he's like,
Mm-mm.
"Okay," and he threw it away.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about food? What was that like?
Like, what did I eat?
Yeah, what was, like,
Mhm.
prepared for
Yeah.
you?
So we had a,
Did you have,
like,
like, host like, what was
yeah, so the first place that we stayed in, like, a missions house.
Uh-huh.
So it was really big, and it had, Mama Esther. She was our cook, and she cooked with the or, like, traveled with us too, so she
Oh, okay.
would prepare meals, in both places for us. There's, like, a team of them, but, yeah, she would make a ton of, like, rice stews, um, a lot of potatoes, starchy
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
And, of course, me, like, I love trying new food, so I'd be down to try, like, anything, but I learned, like, that's great and all, but not in Africa because
Like, the water, the
the water
preparation?
exactly.
Uh-huh.
They just have a lot of bacteria that my body's not used to, and
Did
that
you
would
get
not be
sick at
good.
all?
No, dude,
Oh,
I
thank
kind of
God.
felt like a cold second to last day,
Uh-huh. But
but
not like your tummy?
no,
Oh,
not at
good.
all. Yeah, I did really good. Of course, you drink bottled water the entire
Yeah.
time. Any other small detail questions?
Clothes.
Clothes? Like, how did I pack?
Yeah, like, what did you wear? Like, what was considered appropriate or not?
Oh,
What were
yeah.
other people
Mhm.
wearing?
Yeah, so, it would be inappropriate for me to wear anything, like, above my knee out of, like, the house. Of
Mhm.
course, when we were, like, back from clinic and just hanging out, I was just in my cozy clothes, jogger or, like, biker pants, whatever, that's fine with the team.
Okay.
But for them, yeah, a lot of girls will
The
either wear
slut.
I know. A lot of girls will wear, or every girl wears either a dress or a long skirt.
Were you pretty hot?
Y you know what? That's actually another thing. The environment, you would think going to Africa, I'm gonna be in a hot, hot desert. Dude, it was so lush. Like, there was so much green, and
Wow.
it was hot, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But so I would say it was probably, like, in the 80s, but then it would, like, downpour rain for, like,
Oh.
10 minutes, but then right after it stopped raining, it's so blazing hot, and so there's so much humidity. So it was like,
Oh.
yes, I was hot, but it was
It's not like
different.
dry heat like you would
It
maybe
didn't
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and there was just, like, so
Wow.
much green.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, like, savanna grass,
Yeah.
and, of course, there was, like, some parts of that, like, when I was on the safari, there was a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
wanna
that,
hear about that.
but there was also a lot of green.
Uh-huh.
Um, you wanna hear about the
Yes,
safari?
I wanna do that so bad. Do you recommend?
Yes, dude, it was the cherry on top,
You did the
and
end.
at the very end, so we stayed in this super nice resort on the Nile, and it was kinda like
Denial.
God was just, like, hugging you, getting into that shower with nice
Yeah.
water pressure. Because the showers that I had been using, you have to be really careful about, like, not getting in your mouth and all that, right? And the pressure, it's like my first shower was basically dripping water. Like, it was
Licking
awful.
you.
Yeah. Um,
Spitting on you.
mhm. But
Wow.
even that, like, was luxury compared to what the people outside of the missions house was getting, you know?
Wow.
So anyway, safari, it was really cool. We did 3 safari drives and then 1 water safari,
Uh-huh.
and, I mean, I saw you name it. Like, I did not see zebras,
Mhm.
which I thought zebras were gonna be everywhere, but I guess not in Uganda. lions, elephants, giraffes, gagas,
Yeah.
a ton of different kinds of antelope, warthogs. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And
You're
then,
just thinking of Lion King the whole
yeah,
time?
you see my
Yeah.
Instagram? When I was a
Yeah,
young
yeah, yeah.
warthog. We couldn't stop doing that.
Oh my
Point,
gosh.
not in front of kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was insane. So the last safari drive that we did, we went up closer to the water, an area of this the safari that we had not been to yet. And there was probably 50 to 70 like elephants.
Wow.
So many.
How close are you to them?
At one point I was probably 10 feet from an elephant.
Wow.
Yeah,
How close Go ahead.
that time I was like in the Jeep car thing.
How
But
close were you when you saw, like, dangerous animals, like lions?
they're actually like giraffes, I don't think are dangerous, but like
Uh-huh.
elephants get aggressive
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. But the lions were probably like 10 feet.
And are they, like, the driver is it like a caravan of Jeeps? Are you out there just
There's
with 5
only
people?
so there's two like Jeeps. What were they? Whatever, they're Jeep-esque.
Yeah, like no top.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Like
there's
Land Rover chopped in half.
yes.
Yeah.
Actually think it was a Land Rover.
Uh-huh.
And but bigger,
Okay.
a little bit longer. And there's only two of those and it was our team.
Mm.
And not everybody from the team went, so it was a bit smaller group. So yeah, we're about 10 feet like from the lions. We actually didn't
Being
get to
scared
see
at all?
any. You know, a thought did go through my head because one of the lions was up in a tree. I'm like, could it like pounce on top and like get
And
in?
and these drivers do these tours all the time?
Yeah.
And so are they saying, like, talking you through what to
So
expect? Or like, there they are.
yeah,
Like, are there ever freak accidents where it's like, ooh, someone didn't get dinner last night and you look good, or
Yeah.
they don't go for you? Like, what?
right. So of course we had to ask that. Like, what's the craziest thing that has happened? Like doing safari, including like the tourists coming, and the guide that was with us, she told us that she would tell us after we were done with our safari
Tell you what.
her story. Like she had a really crazy story, but she didn't want to tell us beforehand to like freak us out. And she never told us.
Oh,
I know. And we even asked her right before like we all left.
oh,
And she didn't. I know. So I don't know.
email her.
I know. But our driver, his name was Martin, and he was basically our bodyguard the entire trip. From the missions house, he went with us to Karamoja. Joanne has known him for years and years. So Martin was our driver, and that's what he does for a living is the safari drives.
Wow.
He's amazing. Dude, I would trust Martin with my life to this
Yeah, I
day.
think you did, honey.
I did. But like,
Yeah.
I wish he could be with me everywhere. Like, he would
Wow.
protect me from anything.
Oh my god.
Such a godly man. Like, such a beautiful person. I met so many incredible people too. Our team,
Oh yeah.
gosh, like they are so incredible. Um, I would say so. I mean, I love all of them so much, and you really got to know each other because you're doing a very spiritual, heavy thing, and
Yeah.
naturally, like
Bonding.
you're bonding and sharing your testimony and things that have happened to you and how the Lord's used you and whatnot. And I really connected with this gal named Ruthie, and she's our parents' age,
Mhm.
maybe a little younger, and Trish, who's same age, and these women were just like they're just incredible. They're so much older than me, but I just felt like they were my girls. Like
Sisters,
we
yeah.
just bonded. The three of us bonded like no other. And gosh, Ruthie has such a beautiful testimony. She just like, for example, when she gave her testimony, she shared, I went to Bible college, I learned how to pray. Then I went to UCLA and I learned how to sin. Like that was her testimony that she gave to these Ugandan
I'm
people.
dead.
And they're all like, Like,
you're cracking up.
yes, she's
Oh my
amazing.
gosh, funny.
And such a cool story. And they both live in Seattle. So,
Oh, what?
yes. And I've seen Ruthie
We
since
gotta have him
home.
on.
Yes. And she said that she would come on.
Yes.
hmm So we'll get her on. She's
Dude,
an
that's
amazing story.
awesome.
Sid, Jen, all of these beautiful women.
I was waiting for you to tell me they're from across the
I
country
know
or something.
Sid, she's from, Virginia
Okay.
or Pennsylvania. Yeah, Virginia. And so I hope she listens to this. Hi, Sid.
Hi. Oh my gosh.
She reminded me a lot of you.
Oh, you shared a photo, reposted a photo of her on the safari or something?
Yes, I did. And
Mikey
I
was
kept
like,
telling,
Abby's replacing you.
I kept telling her, dude, you and my cousin Bailey would really get along. She's like
Oh.
all about like the holistics and like natural ways. And Connor was feeling sick, and I was like asking her around, does anybody have like Dayquil? And she's like, no, but I have charcoal. I have
Oh, love her.
all of the things that you would have packed too.
She's from here too? Oh, no.
So she was actually born here, but she lives in Virginia
Okay.
and has her whole life.
Fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to go to Virginia.
We were roomies like the entire trip.
Fun.
Mhm. It was a beautiful experience. Everybody needs to go.
I'm coming next time.
Do it.
Yes.
Seriously, do it. We're going again. We're going back to Uganda. And at the end, we're going to do a gorilla trek.
Oh my gosh, when? Next
On
year?
our feet in the rainforest.
Next year?
Yes.
I'm going.
Yes, you are. You are. Come, please.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Yeah, Connor and a bunch of his friends are going to be there too. Come along.
I want to go.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Same. No.
Oh, they did this in Uganda. This was like how you would introduce yourself.
Oh.
You'd say, a joka, a joke.
Oh.
That means, how are you? I think. I'm good. I don't know.
I'm so excited to go.
Yes, dude. Get ready to experience.
My GoFundMe is open now.
You guys, a missions trip is so much more than like, wow, I'm so privileged at home.
Yeah.
It is so much more. And the Lord revealed and speak to me in so many new ways and showed me so many new things. And being back home, I'm not going to allow the enemy to give this defeating spirit to, like in me. Like I have so many stories that I cannot wait to share. I have more that I want to share with you, and more that will come out throughout the next couple episodes. But this is real life, and this stuff happens, and we need to be having bigger faith.
Why do I hear the worship song? This is living now.
Jeez, dude.
No, seriously, thank you so much for sharing. And even your posture, I can tell, has shifted from the beginning. When we first got here to record today, you were just sharing a little bit about how you've been feeling. And you're like, but I know this is right to share.
Yeah.
And I can feel the enemy underneath your UGG right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so powerful to hear. And I feel like you look different sharing.
Yeah.
And literally casting the light, like this is going to hit so many people's ears, and like they weren't there, but they get to experience it in the way that I'm experiencing it right now. And it's impacted me.
Oh.
And I mean that wholeheartedly. I know that this is what it's about.
Yes.
This is what it's about.
You're so right.
It's so good.
Thank you. I feel very blessed, and I was excited to get to share this with She Means Well.
Yeah.
You know, before the podcast, I would come home and that would be great. I get to share it with my friends and family, and now I get to share it with you, She Means Well friends. So I'm just really grateful for this platform for that.
Oh, same.
All right, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Until next week.
Love you. That was such an awful analogy in the beginning. Fell off the wagon.
I know, dude. All right, love you. Bye.
Bye.